Hello everyone, FunshineX here, and by popular demand, it is another ComputerCraft tutorial. It's what you've all been waiting for. Um, this tutorial will focus on custom APIs, and what I mean by that is using an API you might have found on the ComputerCraft forums, something you got from a friend, or even writing your own APIs. And what is an API? That's just a set of functions that you might commonly use. And a lot of times, if you write a program, you might write a function to say, do this, for me. But what if you use that function in a ton of your programs? You don't want to have to copy it in every single file that you write. And what if you want to distribute that function? You make a nice, cool thing that does something really cool, and you want to let somebody else use it, and post it on the ComputerCraft forums or somewhere, and maybe on your SMP server. So to do that, you're going to want to write an API or use somebody else's API, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you want to do if you're going to work with APIs is close Minecraft. Just get rid of it. Don't even worry about Minecraft for a second. And let's look at the actual ComputerCraft APIs, and they're going to be in your mods folder. And if you're using ComputerCraft 1.33 or lower, there's a folder called ComputerCraft. If you're using 1.4 or higher, it's now just a zip file in your mods folder called ComputerCraft 1.4.1.zip or whatever. So either open the folder or open the zip. You see I've opened the file here in 7-zip. And let me go up a couple. There we go. So I'm in my mods folder. Here's my ComputerCraft zip file. Okay, and in here you've got Lua. This is all just included in the ComputerCraft download. And the ROM folder here. And you can see here's the startup program that runs when your computer reboots normally, if you haven't put one on a disk or edit it yourself. And you'll see an APIs folder. And this is all the APIs that are loaded by default. And you've seen in my other tutorials, we've covered quite a few of them. We've covered terminals, and that might be it, actually, that we've covered. A bunch of the turtle APIs, right? But anyway, so yeah, we've done I/O, we've done the disk API, something like that. Anyway, we want to add our own. So what I did is I went out to ComputerCraft forums and just looked through the API list and found one called the String Utils API by Thomas 1996. And I was just looking for a really simple one so I could show on this, but there's tons of things people have written on there that can do everything from giving you access to put a program in pastebin.com and automatically download it into your SMP server. Connect with IRC from inside Minecraft, things like that. So go check out the ComputerCraft forums for all the APIs that people have written. But I wanted a really simple one, and that's this one right here, called the String Utils. And all you do is take that function and let's just copy it or drag it into our APIs. And I'll say yeah. And there it is. Okay, and if Minecraft is running while you try and do this, it will not work. It'll say can't do it because it's accessing this zip file. So that's why I said close Minecraft. Once you've got it copied here, you can go ahead and get Minecraft going again. And let's start this guy up. Yeah, I know my computer's slow. And let's go into our computer here. Just place down any computer. And let's do on the ROM, if you do a list, you'll see the same folders. So there's our APIs. And if you look here, there's our string utils. And if you try and just type this, it won't do anything. This is not a program that runs. This is just a set of functions to help you accomplish something that you might do multiple times. So what we need to do is actually use this in our own program. So I'm going to exit out of this. Oops. And what I got here? I can't do that. Let me just okay, let's do edit test 2. So you can call it anything, just create a new program. And because we copied it into the APIs folder, the API is already loaded for us. So all we need to do is go to the help file that he's written, that Thomas1996 wrote for string utils API, and we see there's a function called starts with. And it takes a string and a character. And it's going to return true if this string starts with this character. So let's say hello and H. Okay, and this doesn't do anything because we need to say that this is part of the string utils API. And that's all you have to do, right? And this is just the name of the file. And I'm going to print it out. So we should either get a true or false if this all worked, and if I have no typos. We got a true, okay? So if we go change this to a B, it's false. Okay, so we're now successfully using this new API. It wasn't part of ComputerCraft, but someone was nice enough to write a bunch of functions that help us deal with strings, which is really cool because I always have to write these myself, and the ComputerCraft basic Lua doesn't have a lot of these built into it. I'm not going to go through his entire API, what's available, because he does a really good job of describing all the functions that are available. But if you need to manipulate a string in some way, convert it, detect it, encode it, jumble it, convert it to binary, base, whatever, even hash it for passwords and all that kind of stuff. He's got tons of things in there. Okay, so let's just do one more real quick. This one assigns, takes the string called myString and converts it to a character table, which I store in the variable called I. And then I print out the length of I. So the pound sign, if you don't know, in Lua just takes the length of an array, or length of a table, excuse me, and then we're going to print that out. So run that, and it says 8. So that's an easy way to get the length of a string. Okay, so now basically that's all you need to know on running somebody else's API. Okay, now here's the question. I have no access to the zip file. I can't copy files into the zip, or the server's running. I don't want to take it down to add some API. What can I do? Okay, so let's move on to that next. Okay, so I went closed Minecraft down. I deleted the string utils API out of the APIs folder and started Minecraft up again. And the first thing we'll notice is if we go into our, let's say I have a disk drive next to here, right? And let's say we have an API called custom, and we want to put that custom API into the APIs folder, right? Well, normally I would just edit my startup program and say fs.copy disk.custom. Hold on one sec. Okay, disk/custom. And where are we going to put it? Well, let's try to put it in ROM APIs. And reboot. And what's it going to tell us? Access denied. What? I can't copy a folder into the ROM? Well, that's expected because it's a zip file that Minecraft's loaded, and so we can't re-modify in that file. So what else are we going to do? Well, we can just really copy this custom API wherever we want. And we're just going to specify in our programs to load an API, even if it's not in the APIs folder. So let's go back to this startup program. Oops. Where'd it go? Oh, we weren't in the disk folder. There it is. Confused myself there. Okay, so instead of ROM APIs custom, let's just put it in I don't know, we can put it wherever, but let's just put it right here in the root folder, right? Can we do that? Oh no, we can't do that. Hold on, let's just put it in the root folder. Okay, let's try that. no errors. If we do a list of the root, we've now got this custom, and there's nothing in here, right? But I just want to show what it does. So let's do function hello. Print test it, make sure it works. It's not working. Oh, because it's an API, right? We haven't actually called it. So if we do and we now say custom dot print, or we call it hello, don't we? And it says, oh, attempt to index a nil value. And that's basically just saying the function we're calling doesn't exist. But it does exist, right? No, we haven't loaded the API. ComputerCraft doesn't know about this function in custom until we load it. So I'm going to come back in here just to make sure I've got the right values. Just hello, yep. And edit test program. So all we need to do in here is we need to say what is custom. And that's os.load API. Make sure, what's Rain doing? Go away, Rain. Okay, Rain stopped. And again, it's os.load API, and then we give it the name. And because we put it the root, we can just, it needs quotes, yeah. We can do this. And if it was in a folder, so say we called it my APIs, something like that, you could do it that way. And that should load it up. So now if we call it, hey, hello. Awesome. So now you know how to run someone else's API. Easy as just copying it in the APIs folder. You can create your own API, and you know how to load it, right? So let me just show you one more time again by showing you both programs. So test calls os load API, and it's calling custom. And again, this is just wherever we've copied our API folder to. If it's in a folder, you know, just give it the full path. And then once we've loaded the API, we can call any function from it just by using the name of the API and a dot. Our function inside of APIs, and really all an API is just a list of functions, right? So we can have, you know, pretty much an unlimited number. And they can have other variables, so that should work, right? So we're going to call hello 2. Right? So that's pretty much it. And for the last part of the tutorial, I wanted to start writing a API that's for turtles. And what I'd like to do is enable my turtles to draw shapes on the ground. And we're not going to do it fancy to be able to clear the terrain first and all that kind of stuff, or detect if there's something in their way. We're just going to assume it's on a nice clear area or even in the sky, and we just want them to draw a square, right triangle, and a circle, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to edit the actual API. So let's call it turtle shapes. Okay. And we want, and these was all on the fly. I haven't planned this ahead. Some of you like that, some of you don't. So let's say draw. Well, let's do a line as well. And this is how I work. You'll see exactly what my thought process as I go into this. So draw a line, draw a square, draw a triangle, and draw a circle. And it's not really draw, it's build. They're going to be placing blocks down. And so then after I've got my functions that I want for my API, I would say, okay, what do I need to tell my API about how to draw a line? So a line would be, let's say, the direction and the length of the line. So if we give him a direction of like 0, he should just draw it straight ahead. If it's 1, turn to the right, 1, 2, turn right, and then how far the line should go. Okay, and then for a square, we're going to need to say the height. Well, let's just say the length and the width of the square. And that's assuming he's drawing it on the z-plane, so flat. But we could even say which plane to draw it on. So he might draw it on the xy, the yz, or the xz, kind of three-dimensional. Okay, a triangle. Since we're going to make sure this is only a right angle or a right triangle, it also has a length and a width and a plane. And a circle has a radius. Does a circle need anything else? No, really. We're going to assume the x and y is wherever he's starting, and he'll just go out to the radius and start drawing a circle. That's going to be the advanced one we'll leave for part 2 of custom APIs. Okay, so let's do kind of like some pseudocode. It's not really code, but basically he's going to, we can comment it. So we're going to say turn, X number of times to face a direction, and then we're going to say move forward and place a block, and then and he's gonna do a loop from 1 to length. And this is all just code, or I mean pseudocode. This is not code. This doesn't actually do anything, right? And then increment. Okay, so it's really easy. For this draw line function. Let's start with that one. But what I want to do now is make sure everything works. So let's say he's going to print turtle drawing line length. Okay, let's save this. Oops. We call this turtle shapes draw line. And I'm not really on a turtle, so let's get a turtle here. Daytime, please. Just our basic turtle would be good. We'll put him over here. And I'm always going to give him a label, so in case he breaks, I can get him back. So here's my turtle shape builder. I could just call him shape builder. Okay. And then we can say edit line. Let's just call it line. Okay, so where's our API? It's not in the APIs folder, so we can't just say, I don't even know what I've called it. I gotta write these things down. My API is over here. That's not good. Okay, so we need to do from turtle shapes to, I think this is right. Cool. Now it's in my disk. Pull it out of here. Grab a disk drive, put it in there. And if you don't know, Lua is just a way you can use APIs without actually writing them in a function. So I can call like fs and that kind of stuff. On my disk, I've got turtle shapes. And I need to copy it just to the root. Turtle shapes. And I'm just going to call it TS. Simpler, right? Cool, there it is. Exit. Okay, so now edit line again. And ts.draw line. Remember, I have to give it a direction, so I want to go straight. And I want to make it 3 long. Doesn't work. Why not? Okay, because we didn't load it. I knew that was going to happen, by the way. So we need to do OAuth.load API TS. We did something wrong. Let's see. Should be right. Maybe my concatenation function didn't work there. Just see if that's the problem. Yeah, okay, so I've just concatenated it wrong. Anyway, that's all we're going to do for now. Really, you've seen how to load someone else's API in 2 different ways, either copying it in the APIs folder or just copying it anywhere and loading it. And you've seen how to start writing your own API. And you now know what an API is. I know I did a ton of tutorials on the Redstone API and the Monitor API, and everybody's like, what's an API? But now you know, it's just a set of functions that you can, it's kind of like a library that you can call whenever you need to from other functions. And it makes programming a lot easier, and it makes it a lot easier to share code. I want to do a couple things. Really thank Dan200 for posting my video on his site. It's driven a ton of traffic to my YouTube channel, which is really cool. I appreciate it. Again, this was the tutorial for the new release of ComputerCraft 1.4.1, and I talked about all the kind of the new turtles that came out. And again, I didn't really ask him, but I want to thank Thomas1996 for this really cool string API that I just kind of demoed in my tutorial here. And I want you guys to come back to next time. The next tutorial, we're going to be writing more on this turtle API so that our turtles can draw some shapes, and we'll make that really cool. And then I still need ideas for future tutorials. I know a lot of people say more, but I need to know what you guys want, because I could make something and nobody could be interested. So keep letting me know what you guys want to see, and we'll try and accommodate that. This has been FunshineX to ComputerCraft Tutorials. See you later. Bye.